Okay, I'm just going to give you guys some quick tips here. You start Blender up, you'll get the default cube. Middle mouse drag is going to let you orbit around here. Shift and middle mouse drag will let you pan. Control and middle mouse drag lets you truck your camera. If you want to change to ortho views, you can hit your numpads 7, 8, 9, 3, 1. 5 will switch in and out of orthographic view, or if you want to do it the quick way, hold Alt, middle mouse drag in a direction. Up here is your gizmo. You can click that and rotate. You can even click the gizmo axes. It's helpful for touchscreens. These are all touch controls. And camera view. On your keyboard, that's 0. Numpad. Okay. Over here are your tools. This is your tool shelf. This is the 3D cursor. Don't need to know about that yet. These are your other tools. So in order to select an object, use the left click. And then we have rotate, scale, transform. You're familiar with those from other software. So I'm going to show you the Blender way to do it. Go back to your selection tool. Hit G. Now we're in freeform move. To constrain, we can hit Y, X, or Z. To constrain to 2 axes, we can hold Shift and one of the axes we want to ignore. So Z will do both axes, X and Y without the Z, and vice versa. Rotation, the same. If we hit R twice for rotation, then we can free rotate. If we hit R and an axis, we can rotate with that axis. Scale. You hit S, and then Y, X, Z. Okay. A few other things. So we talked about transformation matrices a little bit. Objects and the world have their own context. So I'm going to rotate this cube. And you'll notice here in our properties view, you can see it's got a rotation. So I want to move it up the world axis. I hit X once. I want to do the local objects, that's Z. Local objects Z axis, hit Z twice. Additionally, we have some more control when it comes to movement. So hold Control to constrain or snap. The snap menu is up here. There's a little magnet. We can snap to vertices, edges, faces, volumes, edge centers, or perpendicular to edges. And then we can affect the movement, rotation, or scale. We're just going to stick to increment right now. And find control, we hold Shift while we're doing any of these operations. Some other things about the viewport. We have our outliner here, similar to in Maya. There are collections, our objects, the mesh, materials, all that stuff is in there. We can hide, show, flag different objects for different reasons. Up here is different windows we can use. Right now this is the 3D viewport, but there's a bunch of others. And we'll use those at some point. Here's a drop down of the different modes. And there's these context menus for the different modes. So, view, select, we can add objects from up here. We can do transformations on said objects, etc. In the middle, we have modifiers for how we want to do transformations. So this is typically where we're going to stay at, but not all the time. And where the origin points are. And then this is a soft selection. We can worry about that later. There's more options up here. We have viewport gizmos. We can turn them off. We can turn off all meshes. We can make meshes unselectable. And up here, be sure to turn statistics on. Face orientation is nice. We can turn our wireframe on. This gives us occlusion. So we can see through our mesh. These are the different views of the mesh. The wireframe, solid, look dev, and render view. This is some collection stuff. We don't have to worry about that right now. This is the properties pane. So this is the tool options. So whatever tool we're using, options will show up there. We have the scene options or rendering options. We have image options for how we want to render out. Scene options. World options for the HDRI, things like that. We have our objects options and attributes. We can actually move our object from here. Modifiers, physics stuff, rigging stuff, mesh data, material data, and texture. That's it for this video, and I'll give you more videos to go through too.